guys, it's Laura from How to Get Your Shit Together, and I finally got around to KonMariing my daughter's toys again. If you want to check out the video from when I did it the first time last year, I will link that in the description below, or there will be a card somewhere up here. Here, I think. But today I'm going to share the reason that I finally got my arse in gear and actually wanted to tackle toys. Also, something truly miraculous that happened while I was doing it, why I didn't include my daughter in the process, and how I did things differently in this category than any other, as well as all the usual before and afters. Let's go! So I had been stalling on this category for months. I really did not want to tackle it at all. But then I read this book, Simplicity Parenting, and it lit a fire under me. I will put a link to it in the description box below, because if you are also procrastinating on decluttering your kids' toys, you need to read this book. If it does not want to make you do a serious toy purge, nothing will. When it comes to kids stuff, this is the perfect accompaniment to the KonMari book. Right, let's just dive in and see what the room looked like before. So this is our couch, lots of things on it, bookshelf up here, and then this is the corner of doom. This is the hot spot. This is where all of the mess is, and lots of my shoes. But this is the area that I'm going to be focusing on, I guess. Coming across here, then just TV. Hello. Fireplace, and some more things, camera tripod and her easel. And then this normally does not look this bad, but we had our chimney swept quite recently, so we just kind of shoved everything over here. But her train track, a little slide, a rocking horse. And then here, another bit of a hot spot, I guess. So this is the armchair in the corner, and that tends to accumulate a lot of crap. And then exercise bike / Halloween costume. Unlike most other things in the house, this is the category that just keeps on expanding between Christmas and birthdays and grandparents. It is a constant battle trying to keep the clutter at bay. If you are drowning in toys too, do what I did and break everything down into smaller subcategories. I started with soft toys because I knew it would be relatively quick and painless, and it would help me build up a bit of momentum. Most of her soft toys were up in her room, so I just brought them all down, threw them here in a pile, and went through them one by one. Something I did differently this time around that I have not done with any other category is to actually create 4 piles. One to keep, one to donate, one to trash or recycle, and the other to store. A lot of things actually went up in the attic to be stored either for sentimental reasons or just to be rotated somewhere down the line. A little library of toys up there. This really helped, because there were a lot of things that I didn't necessarily want to part with, but I also didn't want them cluttering up the room. So I think I'm going to swap some things out maybe every month or so that my daughter always has something new to play with. She had 34 soft toys, including 3 that were with her at my parents' house. Afterwards, I put 5 into storage, I donated 15, and I kept 14. After that, I tackled the toys that took up a lot of floor space. I definitely recommend doing this very early on in the process, because it makes a huge and visible difference to the room. Sometimes this process can be a bit disheartening, because a lot of the progress goes on, behind closet doors or in kitchen cupboards, so the difference isn't really as noticeable when you walk into a room. Reclaiming floor space, on the other hand, is a great motivator. I started with 8 large toys. I put 5 of them into storage, I donated 1, and then I kept 2 of them here in the room. That was 3/4 of the stuff cleared out of the room in one fell swoop, and it felt magnificent. After that, I tackled vehicles. This is probably my daughter's favorite category of toys, particularly trains. She has a large train track that takes up a lot of floor space, but she plays with it on a daily basis. As well as that, she has a lot of toy cars, tractors, helicopters, little things like that. So she had 31 vehicles, plus the train track and all that trains that I just counted as one, plus a little mat for trains to go on also. I put 14 vehicles into storage. I donated 2 as well as the mat, and then I kept 14 other vehicles plus the train tracks. As I said, she plays with them all the time. Then I turned to arts and crafts. I also included magazines in this little subcategory because they usually come with stickers and various different bits and bobs. There were too many things here to count, so I just didn't bother. When I was clearing out my stationery a good few months ago, I got rid of the vast majority of my stickers. But I thought that my daughter would like them, so instead of just dumping them all, I just gave them to her. I won't say that it was a terrible idea because she does actually enjoy them, but there was quite a lot. So this time around, I thinned them out a bit. Overall though, I didn't actually get rid of too much here. I put some stuff in a memory box in the attic, you know, just little pictures and things she'd done. I donated a very small amount. I recycled about 20% of it and then I put the rest back. After that, I took a much needed break, and that is when the miracle happened. I was in the kitchen having some lunch when my husband walked in to grab a black sack. And I asked what he was doing. He said that he was going to get rid of some stuff too. I mean, I played it cool at the time and I was all like, oh, okay. But inside, oh my God, amazing. He got rid of a sack full of clothes and I'm just over here like, truly, it was a special day. Then it was back to the grindstone for me. I had basically run out of subcategories at that stage, so I just pulled everything else out. This goes on for a while. So as an aside, at this stage, a lot of people were horrified that I did not include my daughter in this process the first time around. She was 2 years old at the time. I mean, if you can get your 2-year-old to happily part with a sizable chunk of their toys, more power to you. She is now 3. I did not include her this time either. I tried to get her involved a few weeks ago. I sat her down, very carefully explained the process. You know, there are other boys and girls that have no toys. And we went through a small selection of her stuff, but when it came down to it, when the time came, she wouldn't actually let anything go. So even though I think that it is very important for her to learn the lesson that giving to others is good, she's not quite there yet. So I did it without her. And I won't apologize for it, so spare me the angry comments. So for this lot, I put about 40% of it into storage. And by storage, I mean attic. So that's up there waiting to be swapped out with something else in a month or so. I donated about 15% and then trashed or recycled 5%-ish. And the other 40% will stay in the room. Then finally, books. Okay, so confession time. This is actually a category that I did not go through at all the first time around because books spark joy for me, and I hope that someday, very soon, they will spark joy for my daughter too. She was sick recently, so I did a lot of reading to her and it was really lovely, a really bonding experience, and I really hope that we can do lots more of it now in the future because she's just old enough now to start understanding and following stories. Having said that, she had 270 books. Yeah. Even being the massive bookworm that I am, I understand that is a lot of books for a 3-year-old to have. Some of them are collections. So for example, she has the Mr. Men books and there are 50 in that collection. She has the Little Miss books and there are like 36 in that. She's got the Beatrix Potter collection. There are, I think, 23 in that. So there alone is over 100 books. And they're very small books and they come in their own little box. So they're very easy to store and they don't take up that much space. But yeah, 270 is a lot. A large portion of them were actually my old books. So I was, and am, a huge Enid Blyton and Roald Dahl fan. So I had a lot of their books and also then, you know, just general fairy tales and annuals and stuff. And even though I realize that I really do want to pass them on to my daughter, I don't want to do it until she is old enough to properly take care of them. Right now, realistically, she would just rip them to bits and colour all over them. That would not spark joy for me at all.
So what I did was, after I had set aside a handful to be donated, I separated the rest into 4 piles. One was for books she loves and reads right now. So mostly picture books and, you know, very short stories, bedtime stories, nursery rhymes, things like that. Those will all stay. So I put the bedtime stories up in her room and I left the rest down here. Hopefully we can read those together during the day. The second pile was for books she's not quite old enough to enjoy yet, but she will be old enough soon. So things like fairy tales, slightly longer stories. The third pile is for things that will take her a little bit longer to grow into. And the fourth pile was for my old books that, again, it will take her a long time to grow into, and I don't want to pass them on until I know that she is definitely old enough to take care of them. Assuming she wants them, of course. So I ended up putting almost 3/4 of the books up in the attic. I donated a handful and then I kept just a little under a quarter downstairs, divided between her room and the sitting room. It is now 5.5 hours later and I am done. I am so done. I have done all of her toys, but there are still a lot of things in there that I want to go through, so I'm not going to show you the room just yet. I want to leave it now because I'm so tired and so hungry. I'm going to finish it off tomorrow, just a few little bits, and then I will give you another tour. But for now, I am off to the shop to get myself a frozen pizza for dinner. And that was the end of toys. I cannot even tell you how tired and stiff I was. The next morning I finished off the remainder of the room and I gave everything a really good deep clean, mopped the floors, dusted everything. My sinuses are still playing up. And then I was ready to show you the after. Well, that took longer than anticipated. I thought it would take me an hour to finish this off. It actually has taken me 2. But it is done. So here is a scroll through the room. Couch is all cleared off. I have cleared off the shelving up here and just put up some more photos. And then the really bad spot over here has been tidied up. So I've gotten rid of a lot of her stuff, over half. This is what it looks like now. So she's got a little area here. She loves this little table, but it just always ends up covered in stuff. So I'm going to be really good now about keeping that clear because it's somewhere that she can sit and play. I think that's really important. And then just in here, she's got her little shopping cart and her blocks. Here I've put in like some sticker albums and stuff, and then just some of the balls that she plays with. So ideally I'd like better storage for these stickers, but for right now, that's just where they're going. But this is what it looks like. Everything has a place, so hopefully she will know where to put everything back. I have to say she is pretty good at putting her stuff back, but obviously when everything is cluttered, it makes it that much more difficult for her. Coming over here then, I've cleaned everything off here. Went through these little drawers and stuff, dusted all of this down. Top tip, folks, do not pull out your TV, ever. This is where I got stuck. I pulled this out, I went through all of the cords in the back. Some of them didn't even, like, they weren't attached to anything. I pulled them all out. It was just covered in dust and dirt. Just don't do it. Just leave it there. That would be my one piece of advice for you. Coming over here, this is probably the bit that I dislike the most. It's lovely having an open fire and stuff, but obviously it comes with all of this stuff. And because the room is quite small, we don't have somewhere proper to store it. We do have balcony space outside, but it's Ireland, it rains, and we don't have any proper storage out there either. So that is something we're going to have to look into. And then up here, hello, I've just cleared off the mantelpiece a bit. Coming over here then, all of her trains and stuff are still there. I've just turned it around so that it will fit a bit more neatly against that wall. I didn't get rid of any of these because she plays with these on a daily basis. And then over here, I've cleared everything off this armchair. And here's the exercise bike. Again, ideally I would not have that in this room, but we don't really have another place for it. So for now it stays there.
It took a lot longer than I anticipated, but I am really happy with how it turned out. We used to have toys spread throughout the house, particularly because her little table was always cluttered, so we would have to move to the kitchen table if she wanted to do things like colouring or painting or anything like that. But now I have centralised everything here in the sitting room, so everything is all here apart from the soft toys that are on her bed and a few of the bedtime stories that are upstairs. But basically this is where the fun happens. It was a long process, but a very satisfying one. It is so lovely to have a clean and organised living room again, and a dedicated play space for my daughter. And I have warned my husband that should he so much as leave a speck of dust in the place, I will rain fire and brimstone down upon him. If you have any questions at all, leave them in the comments below, and be sure to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already so that you can follow my KonMari progress. I'll also link my KonMari playlist in the description box below if you want to check out all my progress thus far. Until next time, I am going to have a long lie down. Cur míle mága of agus feici mé sib Slán!